What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good today. I'm about to read off in a minute who we got in the chat, because that's how I started off. I always start off who we have in the chat and give everybody shout outs. All right, let's see who we got in here. We got Wing Matchbox. Justice Talks with Julia. Make sure you guys follow her on TikTok. If you're new and you don't know, she helps me do a lot of my research. Okay, she's also a moderator. We got Grandma 4426 in here. We got Tammy. We got Karen. We got Christina of the Woods. We got Rebecca. Good evening. We got Karen. Hi, Karen. We got Ruby for Justice. We got the Driftwood Lover. Driftwood Lover says, ready for this. Ready for this. Let's go. We got Lurkin saying, I wonder if authorities can ever solve this. That is a great question that we are going to maybe try and get a little bit of an answer to. Yes, type in where you guys are from. Thank you, Julia. Type in where you're from. And if you want to video in, let me know. If you want a video in, I'll put the link up and just click the link and you can video in. We got Janny in here. Ray, has your contact indicated there's a strong suspect? That is a no. That's a negative, Nancy. No pun intended, but that is a no. And we're going to get into that. Debbie's listening from Michigan. We got another Karen. I'm still leaning towards Tommaso and Annie. Hey, everybody right now is still on the table. Everybody right now is still on the table. Even if Tommaso and Annie didn't physically do it themselves, they could have did something to cause this to happen. Janice from South Carolina. We got Giggy from, Giggy French from Ohio. B. Rose. B. Rose says, Google Travis Reynolds, 22-year-old Tucson sheriff arrested for kidnapping. Yes, you're about the fourth or fifth person that has sent that to me. And we're going to get into that because I didn't hear about that until you guys told me about that. Thank you so much. Oh, we got New Zealand in the house. Angela Smith. What time is it in New Zealand? Are you out partying? Deborah says, hi, Ray. Do you think Tina and her husband can be in danger from other countries because of the communication invention? That is a great question. Oh, man. Who would they be in danger from, though? Like you said, other countries. To be honest with you, since they're from Iran, I almost lean towards they could be in danger from us. To be honest with you, from us, America. You never know what our military, our people might do and turn on somebody. You never know. You know, I'm not really into politics. I don't really get into politics on here, but if you guys know anything about, I think it was around the Reagan era, we were supplying Saddam Hussein with all his stuff, and then we went and took it all back, you know? So I don't know. We got another one to check out. Ryan Reynolds. Yes, I'm going to Google that here while I'm on live. I wanted to wait to look at this with you guys. We got Liz in the area. Chicago. Lottie. Yes. One of my favorite members, Lottie. And she is from England. We got MO88. Says, if my mom or family member was missing, I would be out searching my rear end off and give full description. I've said this from the get-go. I've said this from the start. And a lot of you guys have agreed with me. This is one of the first ever times I have seen a missing person, and I haven't had this channel long. I know there's a lot of other channels out there that's been doing true crime for a lot longer than me. I've only been doing this. Actually, it's been a year now. Yeah, actually, April's going to be a year. April's going to be a year. April is going to be a year for me of doing this channel. And I've already almost got 25,000 subscribers actually. And I've got that in probably like 10 months because the first 2 months I really didn't do a lot. But I said that from the beginning. I said, where was the search parties? Where was the family out searching? Why wasn't the church out searching? She went to church, right? Why weren't they forming search parties? Why the neighbors weren't forming search parties? Savannah said Nancy had a bunch of friends, but nobody was out searching. That's one thing I never got. We got Weird Wig, Queensland, Australia in here. Mally from Cali. I grew up in Cali. I'm in Florida now, but I grew up. Hey, Wendy Williams enters the chat. Yes, please hit the like button. The more you guys like and comment, the bigger this channel grows, and that's all I ask, so I can continue what I'm doing. Hopefully, and soon I can be doing this full time for you guys. Hopefully. Christina says, thanks for helping Julie out. Yes, thank you, Julia. We got Alice in Wonderland. All right, we got a lot of people in here. Make sure you hit the like. So I'm going to, since everybody keeps telling me about the cop who from Pima County, who supposedly got arrested for kidnapping. What was the cop's name again? I'm gonna Google him right now. What's the cop's name again? From Cali, never Pasadena. Ontario, okay. I was in Toronto for a little bit. Carolyn's from I was in Toronto. All right, let's see. Pima County. Oh, look at this guy. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see what we got going on here. Put myself to the side over there.
Please state your name, sir.
Travis Avery Reynolds.
Great. Mr. Reynolds, this is the time for your initial appearance. You were here this morning on charges of kidnapping. That is a felony offense. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and
All right, so before we look at this, for you guys that don't know, there's people in the chat that just told me about this. I also got an email and comments. This is a Pima County sheriff officer that got arrested for kidnapping. This just is recent. So he just got arrested for kidnapping. Hold on real quick. Let me read this. What does this say? Hypergirl9266 says, hi, fugitive. I'm 17 years old, and my mom and dad both died of cancer 3 years apart. There is a lot of pressure from my cousins to join the gang. What advice would you have for me? Oh, man. First of all, I am sorry about your mom and dad. I am very sorry about that. I know what it's like to lose a loved one because for people that's been following me, I lost a child of my own. And for someone who has been to jail like myself, been to prison like myself, I would say don't go in that direction, okay? I know that it's your family members. I know it's your cousins. I know things like that. But you know what? Even your family members sometimes can lead you down the wrong path. So I would suggest no, don't don't go and don't get forced into any of that, okay? Stay on your own path. You're 17, so I'm guessing maybe you're still in school. If you're still in school, finish school. If you don't see any way for you maybe to make it out of your situation, as soon as you finish school, if anything, join the military for 4 years. Join the military for 4 years. Do something like that. All right? That would be my suggestion, all right? Sorry, guys, I had to answer that. I saw that and I had to answer that. So let's get finished of this.
Will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and it is ordered appointing. Oh, is it the public defender or? We haven't received the information from the Office of Court Appointed Counsel. We're going to appoint the Public Defender's Office for today's purposes. And you do have counsel seated with you for today's hearing. We are going to determine your conditions of release this morning. I have reviewed the interim complaint. I have also reviewed information provided by pretrial services, which lets me know whether there's any prior felony history. I'm not sure if that background noise is coming from the jail or if someone else isn't muted. Okay. And it also lets me know about your ties to the community, including employment, references, and their assessments and recommendations. Finally, I have reviewed the state's recommendation, the prosecution $50,000. Would the state like to be heard further?
Yes, Your Honor. $50,000 plus a pretrial services if he is released. This particular offense that is alleged is very, very concerning. Just given the occupation of the accused and the power dynamics between him and the victim, there's indications that this might have happened before.
So do you guys know when he got arrested? When did he get arrested, actually? Because he looks like he's already in court. So he must have got arrested, what, yesterday? And once again, you're welcome, Hyper Girl. Thank you for, trusting me and this community to open up. I wish more people will open up with their issues and their problems, because there's a lot of people out here that will listen and give you good advice. But does anybody know when he got arrested? Ellen in Wonderland said, who was this? So this guy is a Pima County Sheriff officer. He got arrested for kidnapping, allegedly. He just got arrested for kidnapping. He's already in court. So when I Googled him, this is the first thing that popped up. Is his court date. A lot of you guys are saying he looked like he could be the person in the mask. A lot of you guys are saying this. So Lurkin says this cop kidnapped a woman that was under arrest. What? So he was arrested yesterday. Okay. All right, let's continue and see what they have to say. It's only about 2 minutes left of this.
The victim would like to see he shouldn't be returning back to the jail or the incident location. No weapons, no contact. The victim in this case is very afraid of this defendant because of that power position that he had, of the power dynamics, and that he might retaliate against her. And so for those reasons, we're asking for the bond plus the release. Also, it's on the form, but requesting
he looks
no
like
contact.
the FBI sketch profile.
Thank you, and defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're asking that you release him to pretrial services. He's a lifelong resident of the state of Arizona. He has housing. He's full-time employed. The alleged victim in this case verified that information, and appears to be willing to assume third-party custody of the defendant in this case. I would imagine that means she doesn't object to his release.
A little bit of a information gap because I don't believe that's the victim.
Okay. I get things mixed up then. I apologize. Let me address a few other matters, though, Your Honor. This individual has no prior convictions whatsoever, felony or misdemeanor, no prior failure to appears. He scored a 2 on the NCA scale and a 1 on the FTA scale. For all those reasons, we're asking that you release him from custody here today to pretrial services.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Reynolds, I'm ordering that you're held on a bond of $200,000, cash or secured. If you are released, you'll be released to
$200,000. All right. So let's see what this says real quick, because I'm curious. So that was his court date. Once again, this is a sheriff that was just arrested. All right. For kidnapping. Let's see what this says. A deputy with Pima County Sheriff's Department was fired after he was arrested on a kidnapping charge on Thursday, March 26th. So yes, this was yesterday. The Pima County Sheriff's Department confirmed 22-year-old Travis Reynolds was let go after Tucson Police Department arrested him. Wow, only 22 years old. You know what's funny? That's when Sheriff Nanos got into all his trouble at 22 years old. We'll talk about that. Reynolds appeared in court on Friday, and the judge set his bond at $200,000. His next court appearance is preliminary hearing at 1:30 p.m. April 6th. So it tells you during that hearing, but I want to know exactly what the situation is. Hold on, let's go down to what the situation is. The intern complaint states that Reynolds was on duty and was transporting a woman to the Pima County jail when he commented on her appearance, calling her hot, or commented on her appearance, calling her hot. So he was arresting her, taking her to jail, and said she was hot. While the alleged victim was still in handcuffs, they shared a vape pen. Reynolds told her he could help her with her case. When the woman asked how, Reynolds allegedly explained he would not go to court. He also stated they could go to a hotel and have sex, people. Oh, okay. Don't they have body cams? Actually, don't they have body cams? There's cameras in the car. According to the intern complaint, the woman said Reynolds then showed her explicit videos. The woman said she asked to be taken inside the jail, but Reynolds refused. Hold on. According to the intern complaint, the woman said Reynolds then showed her okay, so the cop, so he showed her explicit videos. I wonder of what, himself? The alleged victim said she had never been arrested before and did not know the steps. So she's never been arrested before and she didn't know the steps and was unsure what was taking so long. She said she saw multiple officers coming and going with her arrestees, and she was wondering why she was still in the vehicle. So let me get this right. This was I know a lot of people have never been arrested or been to jail. Thank God. Okay. But I'm guessing most of these jails, they might have the same way. There's a garage that they go through. When you're in the back of the car, a lot of these bigger jails, they have these garages. They go to the code. Whoever's arresting you will hit the code. The garage will open up, and then they take you into the garage, and then they take you out the jail and enter for processing. So it sounds like she was in the car and the garage the whole time for processing while he's doing this. This is very weird. Very weird. The victim said Reynolds eventually got her out of the vehicle and told her to show him her BREASTS. He asked her to flash him, people. What is wrong with this guy? Do you believe? Wait, hold on. Let me go to the chat. Do you guys believe all this is? Wait. Do you guys believe this? What? Harris Glitter said, yes, the body cam caught and confirmed her claims. Yeah, there's body cam. Why are you doing this on... Oh my God, people are stupid. What is going on? I can't exclude anyone in the investigation. Eliz says, I don't blame you. Ellison Wonderland says, what an idiot. I didn't even get finished reading it yet. What? Wonder how tall he is. What a coincidence. Arrested for kidnapping. He's a Pima County sheriff and an 84-year-old woman kidnapped earlier in February. Sounds like a setup to expose the sheriff's department. Nanos involved. Oh, sounds like a setup to expose the sheriff's department. This is something that's been on my mind for weeks now. It's funny that you brought that up. It's funny you brought that up. Yes, the Sally Port is what you call it. The Sally Port. So he was doing all this while in the Sally Port. You know how brave and daring that is? All the police are there. There's cameras all over the Sally Port. I can't believe this man did all that. Can you do a side-by-side picture? Yeah, I'll see what I can do. If YouTubers are reporting this, there's a reason. He's immature. Says Bella Kim. Definitely immature. Captured Dandy said, did she flash him though? Bro. Oh man, y'all got a sense of humor. Did she flash him though? Great question. Hold on, I'm gonna continue reading this. Doris says, stupid is, stupid does. Yes, let me continue reading this. This is crazy. So, we left off where he asked her to flash him in the Sally Port by the police car while other criminals are going in and out. Oh. All right. So he asked her, he got her out the vehicle and asked her to flash him. The woman said she lifted her shirt to expose her bra. So she did do something. She lifted her shirt to expose her bra. And that's when Reynolds removed her from the vehicle and brought her inside the jail. Video surveillance from the Pima County Jail confirmed parts of the account of the incident. I can't believe this. The intern complaint shows Reynolds stated he may or may not have been involved in showing her a video of sexual acts. He also stated he may or not have been involved in discussion of having SE acts at a hotel. Hold on. Is the media reporting on this yet? Like, hold on, I gotta see this. Reynolds has lived in Arizona his whole life and doesn't have a criminal history. Well, I hope not, because he is a sheriff. Wow. So she did kind of flash him. Wow, I can't believe this. What's this guy's name? Hold on. Let me see something else here. I can't believe this is insane. I don't see any news networks talking about this. I don't see no news networks talking about this. Hold on. We got one.
And we have some breaking.
We got one, guys.
And we have some breaking news to get to as well. Pima County Sheriff's deputy has been fired after being arrested on a kidnapping charge. Take a look at your screen here. This is 22-year-old Travis Reynolds appearing in court this morning. Prosecutors say the case is concerning because of Reynolds' position and indicated there may have been prior incidents. The judge set a bond at $200,000 and scheduled a preliminary hearing for April 6th.
That was all we got. That's all we got, people. That's all we got. That's it. That's it. Look. That's it. We got Matt talking about it. Let's see what Matt has to say.
A deputy with the Pima County Sheriff's Department has been fired after he was arrested for kidnapping. Authorities say that 22-year-old Travis Reynolds is currently being held on a $200,000 bond. Authorities say that the case is particularly troubling because of his position as a law enforcement officer and the power imbalance with the alleged victim. According to the interim complaint, Reynolds was on the clock in transporting a woman to the Pima County Jail when he commented on her appearance, calling her hot. While the woman was still in handcuffs in the back of his car, they reportedly shared a pen, that kind of pen, and Reynolds allegedly told her that he could help her with her case. When she asked for details, he said he wouldn't go to court and suggested that they go to a hotel room to have relations instead. The complaint also claims he showed her explicit videos and ignored her request to be brought to the jail. The woman told investigators that she had never been arrested before and was unfamiliar with the process of being arrested and then transported to the jail, but she noticed officers moving people inside while she remained in the vehicle with Reynolds. According to the complaint, Reynolds eventually got her out of the car and asked her to expose herself, to which she did. He then brought her inside of the jail. Authorities say that video surveillance from his body cam footage, as well as from the facility outside, captures some of what she was saying. The complaint says that when questioned, Reynolds did say that he may or may not have been involved in all of this. Reynolds' defense says that he's lived in Arizona his entire life and has had no criminal history, while the prosecution stated that he may have done something similar to this in the past. This may not have been his first time kidnapping or his first time trying to abuse his position of power. His preliminary hearing is now set for April 6, 2026, when a judge will decide if there is enough evidence against him for the case to move forward to trial. Now, a lot of people are wondering if Travis Reynolds could have been the masked individual standing at Nancy Guthrie's front door. They're pointing out similar facial features, specifically with the eyes as well as the goatee. And remember, there have been experts who have spoken out saying that maybe this person is ex-military or ex-law enforcement. There was also rumors that Nancy may have been SA'd. So how convenient that we have this Pima County Sheriff's deputy who's been arrested for kidnapping someone, attempting to SA someone. Preliminarily, it doesn't seem like these two incidents are connected to one another, but if anything changes, of course, I'll be sure to share with you guys. If anything, this just showcases that there are corrupt people in the Pima County Sheriff's Department in general.
Oh, man. Oh, so what do you guys think of that? Is he Iranian? Is he Iranian? Bella Kim said they're not talking about it because they're too busy talking about Tiger Woods' accident. I don't know if y'all heard, Tiger Woods got into another accident today. Flipped another car. I just can't believe this man's is this much of an idiot. There's videos on Google of him. Is there? Hold on, let's see what we got going on. I'm reading some of your comments. Please watch the video. Julia said, where does the kidnapping come in this situation? That's a great question. That is a great question. She's arrested. He did take her to jail. He didn't take her nowhere else. He actually took her to the Sally Port. That's a great question. Where does the kidnapping come in this situation? He just held her in the car too long. Is that why? Is there a time limit like McDonald's to get her out? He probably showcased videos of his past victims. Charlie says he is ex-militaries. Let me see if I can find anything else on this guy. Let me see. I'm curious. I'm curious real quick. I should run a background check on him, see what comes up. What's this guy's name? Travis Reynolds. See if he's actually connected to anybody that we suspect as a suspect. Hold on, let me see something. Travis Reynolds. What do we got here? What do we got here? I'm just looking right here. Hold on, I'm looking up some stuff. Let's see. Pima County. Travis Avery Reynolds. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see here. He has no previous record. Yeah, I want to see if anybody has a relation to anybody that we like. If I look him up, where Tommaso pop up in his background or somebody he might know, you know? Look what we have here, people. Y'all want to look at this? Look at this. Somebody asked about this earlier. Look. What do you think? It is kind of close. It is kind of close. I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't look close. Yep, eyes look like they're a little wrong. I wish we can see them without the glasses. But very close, right? This is very close. What if this man was involved and he had another sheriff help him out? What if there were sheriffs that did this? Like 2 or 3 sheriffs that did this. What if it was actually sheriffs that did this? And this is why we can't solve nothing. What if the sheriff department did this for some reason? Wouldn't that be interesting? Very close. Let me check something else out. All right. I know he has no background. Well, they say he had no background. They also said Sheriff Nanos had no background too. And then come to find out he was suspended 8 times in his first 2 years of being an officer in a different county. All right, Travis Reynolds. Hey, see what I can find on him. See if he pops up. See if he pops up. Yes, he does. Said you feel Nanos is involved. Becky says she feels Nano is involved. You and a lot of other people feel the same way. All right, I pulled up this man's background. Let's see if I see anything that might be, you know. Looking at address. His parents. He's got a speeding ticket, people. He's got a speeding ticket though. 3 years ago. Let's see. What else we got going on? It looks like there's no names connected with any names that we know of. I just wanted to see that. How close does he live to Nancy? Let's see. How close does he live to Nancy Guthrie? You still live with his parents? I think this man still lives with his parents. Oh, he's not close to Nancy at all. So he's all the way actually South Tucson. Pretty much on the borderline. So yeah, he's South Tucson. But yeah, none of the names match up. I just wanted to see if he had any names on his background that might match up. He got a speeding ticket though. He does have a speeding ticket. All right, I'm about to pull something else up that I saw. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. So during my day, I watch a lot of, YouTube. I watch a lot of other people talk about this case, talk about other cases, of course. And, always interested in what certain individuals have to say, right? Where is this at? See if I can find it for you guys. Give me a second here. Yeah, he was only 22. Charlotte said he ruined his life. Yes, he did. Did he work on her side of the town, though? That part we don't know. He most likely, probably, I'm thinking he did. Does he know Carlos from Rio Rico? He lives down that way. He does live down towards Carlos. That's where he lives at. I'm not going to expose where he lives at because I don't want him to take this video down too. B Rose says, bingo. No priors, no DNA. Which website are you looking at? I use a few. I use, what do I use? InstaCheck. I use TrueFinder. There's a few that I use because each one pulls different information. It's insane they don't do better background checks on officers. Well, I mean, they didn't do one on Sheriff Nanos, it seems like. You guys heard about what happened with him, right? Did you guys hear about his history? And how he beat a guy that was cuffed with his flashlight? Did you hear about that? Beat him till he was bleeding, bludgeon him? Vivian says, hey, Fugitive, when you solve this mystery, will we in the chat get a cut of that 1.2 million payoff? I tell you what, if I ever got that reward, I don't know what I would do. I would have to do something for everybody. Maybe I'll send everybody some gifts or something like that. Maybe I'll pay everybody's phone bill for a month. I don't know. Rock says, what did he arrest her for? That is a great question. I didn't see. They didn't say what she got arrested for. That's a great question. Yeah, so some of you guys say you didn't know what Sheriff Nanos did. See if I can find the video. Sheriff Nanos was suspended, I think it was over 8 times within the first 2 years of why he was a cop in a different county. It was El Paso County or something like that. And one of those times he was suspended, he had a person handcuffed, okay? But while he was handcuffed, he was beating him with his flashlight. So Sheriff Nanos took his own flashlight and beat the guy and bludgeoned him until he was bloody, and Sheriff got suspended for that. Well, when he applied to be a Pima County sheriff, he lied. He told them that he was never suspended before. So that's a big controversy going on right now, is they found out he lied. So why didn't they do a background check on him? You know who found all this stuff? A reporter found it all. So Pima County sheriffs couldn't find it? That was weird. The guy he's suing now, huh? Yeah, Travis Reynolds said we just got finished discussing him. We saw him in court and everything. You get your money back if you buy his memberships to your channel. That is true. You are right. You are right, actually. Hold on, let me see if I can find where the one guy is talking about Nanos. And he's actually discussing everything Nanos did. Speaking of Nanos, did you guys realize, you guys watched the Savannah interview, right? Did you guys watch that interview? She asked Savannah the question. How do you feel the investigation is going, or what do you feel about and Savannah danced all around that question. She never even answered it. She gave credit to the people who were working night and day, and that's it. She never said yes or no, or they weren't doing a good job. She never said nothing. She danced around the question, I realized. Let's see, where is the video of the guy talking about Chris Nanos? Hold on, let me see real quick. Let's see if I can pull it up. I typed in Chris Nanos and Tiger Woods is popping up. Come on, algorithm. We know he got into an accident, but he's alive. Right. See what this has to say. I can't find the original video that I saw.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Vargas. We begin tonight with a heartbreaking plea from a daughter in agony. Today Show host Savannah Guthrie is speaking out in her very first interview as the exhaustive search for her 84-year-old mother appears to have run cold. It has been 53 days, nearly 2 months, since Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her Tucson, Arizona home. Investigators believe someone kidnapped her in the middle of the night. And despite a $1 million reward from the Guthrie family, police still haven't named a single suspect.
Florida in the house.
This is a strange case. Normally, kidnappers provide a credible ransom note and proof of life. In this case, we know of nothing of the sort. What we do know is that police need help. The Pima County Sheriff's Department is urging anyone who knows anything to call these tip lines that you see on your screen. Meanwhile, Chris Nanos, the sheriff whose department is leading this investigation, he is losing trust with the community and his colleagues. A union representing hundreds of Pima County Sheriff's deputies is calling on him to resign after a majority of them supported a no-confidence vote this week. You don't hear about this kind of thing happening very often. Let's go right now to News Nation's Brian Anton, who's been following this case from day one. Brian, some Pima County supervisors have serious concerns about Sheriff Nanos' work history. You spoke with one of them. What did he tell you?
Yeah, this is really getting serious, Elizabeth. You mentioned the no confidence vote. All 306 deputies in the union, I am told, voted that they do not have confidence in the sheriff. Every single one, 306 in the union out of 400 deputies in total. There's about 100 who are not in the union. Meanwhile, the sheriff has come under fire not only by some for his handling of the Nancy Guthrie investigation. Remember, this is now day 50.
Yeah, I wish I can find the one. This guy was going in on Nanos. He's told everything that happened about him. Every single time he got suspended, this guy went in. And the funny thing is, this guy once supported Nanos. This guy was a friend of Nanos. And he didn't even know all this stuff about him. Reading some of your comments. Yeah, Tiger Woods was in the algorithm. In the algorithm. As soon as I typed in his I typed in Chris or I typed in Sheriff Nanos and Tiger Woods popped up. It was a Brian Entin interview. I thought it was a Brian Entin. I thought it was, yeah. The guy also went on Fox too. Now, Brian Entin, he was nicer, but he went on Fox and was, oh man, you know how Fox could get no filter, rough and rugged. He went on Fox and he was almost cursing. So during the Savannah interview, the one big question that a lot of us had during the Savannah interview was she said during the interview that her mom had on no shoes and pajamas. What's going on, Red Dog? She said her mom had on no shoes and no pajamas. How did she know she had on no shoes? I'm sorry, she had on no shoes and pajamas. Sorry about that. She had on no shoes and was wearing her pajamas. Brian is good for Main Street. He's very good. He's one of the ones I watch the most. Savannah said she had on no shoes and pajamas. How do we know? How does Savannah know that she didn't have any shoes on? That is a question that I see some people asking. How do they know that she was wearing her pajamas? Yeah, how does she know? How does she know? Apparently, when Nancy got dropped off, remember, nobody went in the house with her. Nancy went in the house by herself. So how would they know what she got dressed into? They don't know unless there is footage inside the house. What Bella Kim just said. Or footage they're not showing us. So yeah, that one of the things I was like, how and I'm sorry, you guys might hate me for this, but Coda, the lady who interviewed Savannah, I'm sorry, but it really wasn't an interview. She didn't do no follow-up questions. Now, maybe she wasn't allowed to do follow-up questions. I don't know, but it just left with more questions than more questions now. Like how do you know this and you know that? How long was it before anyone arrived at the house? What was the original timeline? Remember, the timeline changed. It changed like twice. Either video inside or photo. A ransom note was real. The family deducted from what clothes were left there. Or somebody knows. Yeah, it's a bunch of like, so here's my thing. If she had no shoes on, all right, she had no shoes on is what Savannah said. Do they know how many pairs of shoes this woman had in her house? You get where I'm going? Like, do they know, like they went in the closet and was like, all right, we count 62 pairs of shoes. She's got 62 pairs. Yeah, she didn't have shoes on. Like how, I would have asked a follow-up question. Like, so she didn't have shoes and she only had her pajamas on? How did you guys come to that conclusion? I would have asked that. That would have been me, you know? Then we would have got another answer out of it. Maybe Nancy wears special shoes, expensive ones. This could be a possibility. Could be a possibility. Daughters know mom's slippers and shoes, sneakers, and much more. However, she had to be in New York. All I know is what's weird is how Tommaso was covering the only part of his face that you could see on the picture. The ransom note may have corroborated with what the suspect she wore. And yeah, I mean, you're right. The ransom note might have said, but once again, how do they know? How would they know the ransom note was correct? I'm just asking, how would they even know that? Nobody was there with Nancy. So I think there's got to be another picture or video that they're not showing us. And I don't know why they wouldn't tell us that. Why they wouldn't say, look out for this lady with no shoes on and pajamas. I mean, we're going on 2 months. She's not found. They could have gave us a little more or something. Now, I'm not saying would it help, but hey, we didn't even get a description of what the woman was wearing. The Nancy Grace episode from yesterday, very good info. No one has talked about yet from that perspective. All right, I'm going to look at that. Yes, insight footage, Becky says. Now, I'm thinking they might have some insight footage that they are not sharing. City by the Sea says, what about the church folks? Not a word from anyone who attended online or not. Not a word. Did any of her church people form a search party to look for her? Somebody let me know. Did any of Nancy's churchgoers form a search party to go look for her? Donnie says, way too many questions, not enough. Yeah, that's just only one of my questions from your interview. I watched the interview about a good 4 times. I've watched that interview 4 times. And every time, not even watching, just listening to it with headphones. And every time I listened, I'm like thinking like, first I'm thinking like, I remember watching the interview, right? So when you first watch the interview, you know, you got Savannah crying. Obviously, she's crying, right? We can all be empathetic with that. But then you have Coda, the interviewer, she starts crying too, but then her mic is turned up really high and you hear her crying and everything else. And I'm thinking like, why didn't they turn her mic down? And you know, but anyways, it's like adding to the dramatic effect. And she would ask Savannah a question. Savannah would answer some questions, but then some questions she would kind of talk around the question and there would be no follow-up to that question. And I'm like the other question, I don't know if you guys realize that, but when she asked Savannah about her family members, about Tommaso and Annie, do you remember when she asked her that question? Do you remember Savannah really didn't answer the question? She never really answered the question. Savannah, her pain was real, but doing a multi-part series was tacky to me. Yes, I thought that was tacky too. It almost seemed like they wanted that for ratings. The family has been in control of the narrative from day one. I want to know why the back doors are propped open. Makes no sense. They were talking about that on Megyn Kelly earlier. I was watching Megyn Kelly. They were talking about the back door being propped open. Duke says, Tom walked Nancy in. Nancy was taken from her bed in the middle of the night. She wears pajamas to bed. Her shoes were left at the house. Annie would know how many shoes she had and what she wore. This could be a possibility. But how do we know that Tom walked her in? I thought Tom just dropped her off and she walked through the garage. I thought that was what happened. Hey, Wonder Woman, what's going on? One of the moderators right here. So Madison says, NBC is trying to get ratings from Savannah's tragedy. It's gross. I think you are not lying with that. That's why they did part 1, part 2, and part 3. To keep you watching. Groovy says it wasn't about giving us info, it was about the sympathy for Savannah. I get that, but the issue with that is, if it was about the sympathy, why ask certain questions? You get what I'm trying to say? Why ask questions knowing maybe she can't answer that question? You get what where I'm going at? Talk about something else. Go to, how was your mom? How was your family? Questions like that. But she was asking questions that we all wanted to know. Like, one question was, how do you feel about sheriff or the Pima department, Pima County, handling the case? That was a very good question, because we all looking at it like, we're all looking at the case like, well, they're doing horrible. We could do better than them. That's how we all feel, right? She asked her that question, and then Savannah just danced around it. She never answered the question. Never did. So it left more questions for us, like, how does she really feel? So it was just kind of questions like that. It was like, you gave us a and left us on a cliffhanger type of thing, And I feel that when you're a journalist, Brian Enton does this really well. This is why I like Brian Enton so much. Every time you hear Brian Enton do an interview and he asks a question, right? And let's say somebody gives an answer to the question, Brian Enton a lot of times will do a follow-up question to that answer to have a better understanding for himself. And he'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. And for us as the viewer. And that's what makes him so good, especially when he's on TV and interviewing somebody. He gives these proper follow-up questions, And it's also the way he asked the question. So when she was giving these questions, it was just like, if she wasn't supposed to talk about it, why even ask the question in the first place? I guess is where I'm going at. Timeline is up how he cleared the family so quickly. I don't know if the family is really cleared or not. That part, I don't know. We don't know if they're really lying to us, to be honest with you. We really don't know. They could be lying to us on that one. We are all waiting for the 911 call. All of us. Maybe she's on an island. Hey, I thought about that one time. Actually, you know what? All this crossed my mind. I thought about this too. Maybe she's alive and they have her somewhere. I thought about that too. And there was another question she asked her, like I said, about the family. She asked her, actually, let me see if I can pull that up where it was, but she asked her about the family, right? Because every single one of us, pretty much, unless you're the odd one, have been pointing fingers, wondering about Tommaso and Annie. All of us. I mean, it's common sense, right? They were the last ones with Nancy. In all my cases I've done, 9 out of 10 times when a person goes missing, it is the last person that has seen them that had something to do with them missing. Almost every single time. Unless the person that went missing went off and unalived themselves. And we know Nancy didn't do that. Well, she asked her about, she said a question about your family's been getting blamed. And even the question was kind of, like she didn't want to take her there all the way, but she kind of did, kind of made it a little, I don't even know how to explain it. And then Nancy didn't answer the question. Nancy responded with, Savannah didn't answer the question. Savannah responded with, Tommy loves my mom and has always been taking care of my mom. That wasn't the question. I got irritated the second time I listened to the interview. And I was like, hold on, that wasn't the question. And she was like, Tommy, loves my mom and has always been taking care of my mom. And she started talking about Annie and Cam and and I just I was like, oh man, so why even ask these questions? Why? Why ask the question if we can't get it, an answer for it? And that's just only 2 things. There's another question too. Tina could keep her alive. She has medical experience. Tina has a whole research company and a medical facility and a medical lab. She could keep anybody alive. The classic 007 from Tampa. I am from Tampa too. Tampa's in the house. Well, I live here now, but I'm not from here. Actually, JLR is actually like 45 minutes from me or something like that. Forbidden Day says, I don't understand Cameron's response to Sav. Kidnapped for ransom, and yes, because of you. Even that part, that was... when she said that, and, and she was like, because of me, and he was like, yeah, kidnapped for... I don't know. It sounds like he was smarter than Sheriff Nanos, if that's the case. I don't know. You can't clear someone based on a lie detector test. You have a point right there, Groovy. And not only that, you guys want to know something else? Because I've been in trouble before. You can't clear anybody until the crime is solved. You can't clear anybody until the crime is solved. If you haven't solved the crime, how are you going to clear anybody? Get where I'm going? So you might have so-called passed the lie detector test. There's a lot of people that have passed the lie detector test, and still ended up being guilty. A lot of people. There's people who have failed the lie detector test and they were innocent. That's why the lie detector test, you don't bring it up in court. It's all based off your nerves and things like that. So that is why. So they can't even solve the crime. So how are they going to clear anyone? Where is Savannah? So you say her husband's no support at all. We have not seen anything from that man. Have we seen anything from Savannah's husband? Great question. Or great statement, actually. If he walk like a duck, he is Tama. Dark chocolate. Yes, we actually talked about that. We showed, that was the first thing we talked about when we started the live. Travis Reynolds is his name. 22 years old, arrested for kidnapping. Kidnapping a person that he was already, a lady who he was already taken to jail. That's the funny thing about it. The family made Nancy take an Uber. There, that part I didn't understand either. Oh, you know what? I have a great question. A great question for you guys. That seems like everybody forgot. Do you think they wanted the pacemaker to do research on her? I don't know. I'm wondering if they are the ones who made the pacemaker or put the pacemaker inside of her. Who did the surgery on Nancy is what I would like to know. Who actually did the surgery? TC, there was a lot of questions that should have been asked. A lot of questions. And you can ask the person these questions without being rude. You can still ask the person these questions being sympathetic and having empathy. It's just a way to do it when you're interviewing somebody. It's just a way to do it. But you can still ask these questions, you know? I'm just wondering if she got a list of, they call it a list of demands. I've done a couple interviews or a few interviews. So before I actually started this channel, you guys, I did a few interviews. One was with True Crime Matt Cox, where that actually was my first interview, where he interviewed my story about a fugitive being on the run. So he gave me an interview. I did another interview with a guy named Chip Williams, True Crime in Hollywood. He does a lot of interviews with former mobsters, stuff like that. He gave me an interview. I've done a few interviews. And when you do these interviews, you can give them a list of, pretty much, you can call them demands, as in like, don't talk about this, or don't ask this question, don't bring this up. I don't give them that, but you can do that. And then the person that's interviewing you, if they're about integrity and doing their job, then what they will do is follow that list of demands if they really want to interview you, okay? Now, there's some interviewers who won't interview somebody, okay, if they will not answer all their questions. There's a lot of interviewers out there. If you don't want to answer all my questions, we're not going to do the interview. All right. And there's some that will say, I'll interview you, but you know, hey, yeah, we'll see. So I'm wondering if that was the case in this one. DAMF2H says, who is Tina? Who is Tina? Are you ready for the Tina? I think it's cruel that Nancy didn't have a 24/7 caretaker. Who is Tina? All right. Tina was an Iranian caregiver. So Tina was Iranian, but I think she wasn't a caregiver. I think she ran the company because, like I said, she's worth millions of dollars, people. So if you didn't see my video earlier, all right, Tina is, I'll explain to you real quick. Tina is a lady from Iran, okay? She's a lady from Iran. And she also has a husband who is a civil engineer, and he's a professor at Arizona State University. Well, Tina has a bunch of different companies. She owns a medical research center called Mana LLC Clinical, where they do a lot of research on and they do a lot of electromagnetic wave research on people, and they do like a lot of natural things for you. It wasn't really clear, to be honest with you, but it's a medical research clinic. She also owns MagTab something, which I can't remember exactly what it is. I got to look it up. But when you pull up MagTab, this is what it comes back to. And since we're on live, I can actually show you guys. But people are, and Tina, how her name popped up is, me and Julia found out that Tina, we did a background search on Nancy Guthrie is what we did. Nobody did a background search on her. So we did a background search on Nancy. You're supposed to on victims. I'm like, hold on, let's do a background search. Come to find out, this lady named Tina Abanuzi shared a same address with Nancy for 1 month back in 2023. So then we researched Tina Abanuzi and we found all of this stuff. Okay? See this right here? MagTab. She has a company that's associated with this right here. And wait till I read to you guys what this is if you don't know. Marine Air Ground Tablet. Marine Air Ground Tablet MagTab is an end-user device that was designed specifically by Marines to enable detailed mission planning, increased mission effectiveness, improve debriefing tools. MagTab support for majority of the Marine Corps' existing tactical missions, streamline the tactics, techniques, and procedures used by operators. MagTab provides a consistent, intuitive user experience with reliable software applications. Secure Wi-Fi solution provides ability for users to move between nodes throughout the battlefield without the need for reconfiguration. En route situational awareness through battle tracking of all network users with the ability to inject intel updates. Streamlined chat enables all users to communicate on the network quickly and reliable, meaning you don't need a cell phone. Don't need a cell phone. Long as you got this, you guys can communicate. This is not going to get pinged to your cell phone tower. It is not going to get pinged to a cell phone tower. The one thing I realized right here is, look, here's the one thing I noticed when I peeped this out. The first thing it says is an end user device that was designed by Marines, right? And I brought this up in my other video. Designed is different from engineering it. Design can be different from building it. Who engineered it? Who put the thing together to make it work? Now, Tina and her husband are both associated with this business. And guess what? Her husband is an engineer. He has degrees from 3 different schools for engineering. And then Tina's business partner, who they have a lot of patents, okay? I believe it was up to 7 or 8 different inventions, all dealing with electromagnetic waves. One was a UV ray that destroys DNA. He is an engineer too, which all goes back to this. Very interesting. Gigabutt from London, what is going on? That's what Travis Reynolds had in his pocket. I brought this up in my video. I said all this talk about what was in his pocket. Remember all the talk about what was in his pocket? Could it have been this? Could it have been this? To enable detailed mission planning and increase mission effectiveness. But it tells you this, but I'm wondering what it really means. Now, I talked about this in my video. They're not going to blast all this online, right? They're going to give you just enough because they don't want the enemy probably reading this. Who knows? But I'm wondering what it means by enable detailed mission planning and increase mission effectiveness. What does it mean by that? Tightly integrated suite of apps share relevant information on the Mag tab and are continuously improved, updated using feedback from end users to provide the most effective solution available. Solution to what? Existing tactical missions and streamline the tactics, techniques, and procedures. Understand, monitor, control status of tactical networks when integrated with MEWLS and meshed network managers. I don't know, people. All I know is this is one of her businesses. One of her businesses. I'm trying to see if I can find a definition for, or it'll be abbreviation, I believe. Hold on. It doesn't tell me what that is. Never mind. Doesn't tell me. She lived with Nancy as a caregiver. She has an LOC also for in-home stuff. I don't think she lived with Nancy as a caregiver. I think that one of her employees was there. You have to remember, this lady is very rich. She also has an investment company that has other properties by Nancy. Okay? I'm thinking that she was doing some research on Nancy, doing whatever it was. It could have been with her pacemaker and the app, because she also has an invention for that too, where in real time it will show you an image of your heart, your cholesterol level, and all that on the app. Okay? And then she also has a device that can find other medical devices like a pacemaker. Is anyone waiting for Ray's stream to suddenly stop because of what he's talking about? So did someone believe Nancy Guthrie needed to finance her technology when she said no? They decided that's a good question. That is a very good question. Very good question. I keep wondering if this is someone connected to the sketchiness of TPUSA. Jammers, which I believe they had some sort of jammer on them, because there's reports of people's internet going out around that same time. So they had something on them. Yes, all of her companies are to deal with some sort of medical equipment. Every single company, except for the investments part. The investment company is the only one that I looked at where it's kind of broad because they got properties under that one too. But every single one had to deal with some sort of medical, except for that mag tab that I just showed you guys. Now, that one was interesting because when I clicked on that one, that was the only one that was like, hold on, this is different than all the rest. This is different. Capture Dan says, I'm glad we're open to things here. Other chats dismiss the stuff and say conspiracy tinfoil hat BS. Here in my community, if the crime ain't solved, you guys are welcome to say what you want to say, because you know what? It's been 60 days, almost 2 months pretty much, and the crime has not been solved. Sheriff Nanos has messed everything up from the beginning. Nobody knows nothing. So you know what? Everything is almost on the table. We don't know. We don't know. All we can do is hear what people have to say, their theories, and then try and connect the dots, or try and say that doesn't make sense, or try and say that could make sense. Hey, that's what we have here going on. Who is the cardiologist living in Nancy's neighborhood? Great question. I didn't know there was a cardiologist living in Nancy's neighborhood. That I didn't know. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you, Charlotte. Think about the stuff that is coming out about how Chuka and maybe Tina is a plant and her husband could be Cell. Interesting. Basically a data dashboard navigation suite for mission control. Yes. Plus you can communicate with other people while you're there because there's a chat there and you don't need the Wi-Fi network to communicate with somebody. With that, could this explain why there was no cell phone needed? Could this be explained why there is no cell phone needed? You won a 10-4 hat for 20 years. Yes. Let's get her found. Only problem is we got to know where she's at. You know what the thing is? If we can find the motive, I've been saying this, if you can actually find the motive before you can find the person who took her, if you can find actually motive, you probably might solve this. Thank you, Charmaine. Thank you so much. We use Botox for medical reason. Oh, yes. Tina also owns a company. It's called Blue Onyx. I believe it's called Blue Onyx. It's like Botox. Speaking of Botox, it's just like Botox, but it's a different procedure is what it is. But she owns a company called Blue Onyx. It was Blue Onyx something, something, something. I don't think Nancy was involved in things she should have been. I don't think Nancy did this to herself. I don't think so at all. I think somebody else got involved with something, or somebody else did something to make whoever mad, and in return for revenge, I'm gonna take your mom. That's what I truly think. So I don't think Nancy did anything, you know. And if Nancy did something, she probably didn't even know what she was doing, but I don't think she did something. I think this falls on somebody else that is close to her in her circle or family. One of those individuals, I believe, did something. Now, like I always said, I don't think Tommaso physically took Nancy. Because if Tommaso physically took Nancy, there's no way he could have kept Nancy alive. Nancy knows who he is. Nancy would come home and tell on him. So it would be no way that Tommaso physically took her. So I always said, I don't think he physically was the one who snatched her, but is it possible it was something that he did to get her snatched? You get where I'm going? Who hired Tina to begin with? Who hired Tina's business or anything to do whatever it is they did to Nancy? Who hired them? Was it Tommaso and Annie that hired Tina? That was like, hey, you're a good person for our mom. Let's do this. And then maybe something went wrong. Cameron probably used that technology. Oh, that's right. He's in military intelligence. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yes, Fatima or Fatima is her real name. I just keep saying Tina so they don't take the string down. Yes, she was only there a month. And I think that month was because she had things delivered to the house under her name. We all want the Marine Ground Air tablets, don't we? Actually, let me see something real quick. You can't buy it. You have to fill out a form to request more information. Request more information is what it says. Oh, shizzle nits. Hold on. What's this? What is this? Hey, people. Oh. Oh. Hold on. Was this what he had in his pocket? Hold on. Look. Look at this. Didn't he have a box with one like an antenna sticking out the pocket? Remember that? Hold up. So the MagTap device connects to another device, people. I just found this. Hold on. Watch this. The MagTap device connects to another device, people. Miniature encrypted wireless link. Which is MEWLS. Remember I tried to find what an MEWLS, but I couldn't find it. Create reliable network capabilities for MagTabs via secure Wi-Fi and are equipped to mate with a wide array of radios. Then it gives you a bunch of radio numbers. It requires minimal configuration and can be powered entirely by the radio or by a USB battery pack for portable on the move and real-time situational awareness. Enhanced communications on the battlefield. Wow, so this hooks up to the MagTab, and now you have a secured wireless network. And it's got a big long antenna. It's got that antenna sticking out of it. Provides battle tracking, chat, file transfers, smart pack elements, FMV feeds. What is FMV feeds? What is that? Oh my God, full motion video. Feeds are live, metadata enriched video. Primarily used for military intelligence and surveillance purposes, people. I can't even say the word. Because I'm so excited here. It is used for military intelligence and surveillance purposes. What do we got going on? What do we have going on? With this? What is going on with this? So it's military grade. Yes, it is all military grade stuff. Now, Ruby is saying, I wonder if Cameron is connected somehow, and that's why he told Savannah it's because of her, and Nancy was taken for ransom. The signal can mess up the Wi-Fi too. Yep, it's portable. Could that be what they use to scramble the neighbor's security? I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Charlotte. Lottie says, I think they had walkie-talkies, and they probably had walkie-talkies. Remember, you had a backpack full of stuff. Let's go back. Let's. I don't know. You guys tell me. Is it just a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that we found this lady, Tina Abnuzzi, on Nancy's background report that shared the same address as Nancy? And then when you look at Tina's background, she had all these medical businesses. So we're like, all right, okay, I can see the relation here. Maybe she did some sort of medical work for Nancy, or one of her businesses did. Okay, I can see that. But then the one business out of all the businesses leads back to this crap. The one business out of all her businesses leads back to this, which is stuff that they keep talking about in the news. What was in his pocket? Why was the Wi-Fi signal scrammed? Why was the video not videoing? Why was there no cell phones pinged? This man, they said, was there on January 11th. So he was there on January 11th, still with no cell phone. How was he able to go through the neighborhood? If you guys have ever been in the Foothills, Tucson area, okay? I have. I've been to Tucson before. I lived there for about 5 or 6 months. That's why I'm so familiar with that border to Mexico, because I know how to cross it in and out with no ID. Easy. But if you ever go into the Foothills area and you don't know your way around, you can easily get lost. Pull up the map. The roads twist and turns, and then where Nancy lives at, you have to really go deep into where she lives at, if you know what I mean. You don't just stumble upon it. You have to really kind of know what you're doing, or if you get lost, like, oh, okay, this is Nancy's house. So they had to know what they were doing. If they had no phones, which means they had no navigation. So I always wonder, what were they using for nav or any of that, when they first got there? Probably some kind of airwaves. Now remember, her husband and her business partners are engineers, and they both deal with electrical magnetic waves. Her husband and her business partners both deal with electrical magnetic waves. River said, I saw Luke's mom has a record with the Russian mob. Any truth to that? It could be true, because of, just from my research, Luke's Range Rover came from MG Motors. MG Motors is owned by a couple of people. One, I believe his name is Lulu Muhammad, and the other guy is a Russian guy, all right? And the Russian guy was busted in like 2009 for a big theft ring. So it could be true. Yes, please hit the like button. Please do. Yes, so with this Mini, you can link into someone's wireless cameras. That's what it's saying. And you can get live feed. Cameron would have access. Perhaps That's why Cameron attacked his sister. Cameron is the only family member connected to the military. Ellie, can you look into Ronald Aaron Lopez? He came on the other realm the other night. He stated that he was not a female. When people in the chat was talking about the guy on the porch could be a female. So that's his name? Hold on, let me take a picture of that. That's his name? Aaron, do you know, by any chance, did he happen to say like what state he was from or what city he was from or anything like that? Call and get that millions. I might end up missing. I don't know. I don't know. If I call these people with a lot of information, I might be the one end up missing. Y'all gonna be wondering where Ray Marcel's at in Fugitive TV. I might be the one end up missing. What does this have to do with the kidnapping? Well, it could be possible equipment that was used because these people are associated with Nancy. And when you look up their businesses, this is what pops up for their businesses is this type of equipment. That is how it could be a connection to the kidnapping. A picture of, yes, let me see if I can pull a picture of that up for you guys. Let's see if we can pull that up. Please, Ray, be careful. I'm trying to. Hey, I watch all my surroundings. See, one thing about me, you gotta remember, I was a fugitive for a long time, so I still got that instinct in me. Even though I'm doing good now, I still got that instinct in me to where I sit in a restaurant, my back is to the wall. I gotta look and see who everybody's coming in. When I'm driving, I'm always looking at my rearview mirror. I never take the same route twice. I'm always looking out and always careful. But hey, nobody's untouchable. Nobody is. You can only be safe. Let me see if I can find. Let me get a picture of. Hold on. Let's see here. 3. Let's see. See if we can get a good picture of his pocket. Actually, let's do the video. Let's do the whole video. We'll do the whole video. And then we can kind of pause it when we want to. Let's see.
It has now been nearly.
We just need the video, people. Just the video. And I know I got the video saved somewhere. All right, here we go. See if I can pause at the right time. All right.
Guy.
You definitely see an outline right there, an outline of almost like a box. You see an outline of almost like a box? So you do see the outline there. Because the FBI doesn't even know about the possibilities of devices. I was thinking Nancy was wanting to use it to interfere with ICE, but maybe Tina had a bigger picture. Oh yes. Nancy was a big yes, that's right. She was posting a lot on her Facebook political views against ICE. You're right about that. Debbie says, we will organize a search for you. I hope so. I hope you guys do. I hope you guys do. And you know what? If that happened, if I end up missing, then you know that, hey, he was on to something. You know he was on to something. Be careful what people hand to you or drinks. Mel, because this stuff is going on way too much. You are right. Oh, man. Just found that we're here with you guys. What else is over here? Let's see. I think that might be all. Let's see. For this product, I should say. What is this right here? I'm just reading some things on these products that we happen to find just now. Well, this is connected to MagTab 2. Remember, this man had a backpack full of stuff, and we always wonder what was in the backpack, but thank you, Wonder Woman. Thank you for that. Please hit the like button. Thank you so much. I'm just reading over some of your comments here. Thank you so much, Kathy, for the super chat. Thank you. Ray needs to be hired by the FBI. Oh my God, there's so many people that's been telling me that. I've actually got emails of people saying that, like, hey, they need to hire you. Only problem is, the only issue is, people, I don't think they would allow me to have this YouTube channel. I don't think they would allow me to have the YouTube channel. That would be the issue. I don't know if I can give up not informing you guys. Unbiased opinions, the truth the way I see it, or maybe some facts that people are not bringing to you in any of these cases. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Yeah, I was looking to see if I can find more things. A real life Catch Me If You Can. Bella Kim, that's what the judge told me. The judge told me. Bella Kim, that's exactly what the judge told me. When I turned myself in, okay? I turned myself in, and when I had to go to court, the judge, I go into the courtroom, and the judge comes out and he goes, "Oh, this is him. I've been reading all about you." Because I had so many letters of recommendation. I think I had over 100 letters of people of recommendation from, people sent to the judge. And he goes, "Interesting. I really never came across of a case like this before." But he goes, "You know what? You ever seen that movie Catch Me If You Can?" And I was like, "Yes, I have." And that's the first thing he said. "This reminds me of a real life situation of Catch Me If You Can." And then he actually told me that when you get out, he said, write a book, do a story in your life. And he made me promise him that if I ever did a movie or a show, that he would be a younger, skinnier version of himself, because he was like 80 years old or 70 years old or something like that. So I told him I would do that. So it's funny you mentioned that. How big is the DNA zapper? I don't know how big it is. I just found there's no picture of it. It's just a patents, that's all. But there's no picture. And the patents, there might be some measurements in the patents, but the thing is, it's so difficult to read it. It was too smart for me. It was. It was. Don't forget to talk about Tina's husband, where he works at. Yes, he is a professor. Tina's husband is a professor at Arizona State. Tina's husband has a different last name. I think it was like Moshar or something like that. And that's why all that, if you watch JLR, he brought up that list of all those last names. Okay. And Matt from TikTok, it was a bunch of people that brought up that list of all those last names that supposedly the gun store had from the FBI, was going around asking, "Hey, do you know who these people are?" That one of those names is Tina's last name. One of those names is her husband's last name. And another one of those names is her business partner / inventor's last name. All those last names go back to Tina. Every single name on that list. I don't have a date yet. It's finished. They're just editing it. So there's no date yet. But as soon as there's a date, I'm going to let you. I'm trying to have this out at least by summertime, so you guys have something to read by summertime. You would hire me? You would hire? Actually, I've been a couple families have actually acquired my services to help them locate somebody. One I couldn't locate. We never found them. The other one we did locate them. Actually, one was a missing individual, and the other one wasn't missing, but the person unalived their daughter, and then their daughter was in and out of rehab on drugs. I don't know if you guys know about this, but a lot of times individuals who are either homeless or on drugs, when they get unalived, a lot of times police, instead of doing the paperwork, they just close the case off. That happens a lot. And that was their daughter. Their daughter was one of those situations. And they had a feeling they knew who did it, but they just couldn't find the guy. So I had to go out and I literally found him. You sent a message. Let's see here. What mess? Was it the email? Or was it to the call-in link? Muhammad Lulu. Yeah, Muhammad Lulu, that guy is the owner of one of the owners of MG Motors, right? Ray, can you pull up the thief from the gym show picture? The thief. Yes, that's the Russian guy. Gurgen Karen. That's the Russian guy. I can never remember his name. Ever. That's the Russian guy. Cameron always seems to have a chip on his shoulder. I thought it was just me. Oh! Speaking of getting arrested, Luke and them. So I actually found out what happened with them, of why they all got arrested. I found out exactly what happened with them, allegedly, and why they all got arrested. You guys want to hear what I found out, why they got arrested? I forgot. I've never mentioned this. You guys just reminded me. And I was going to say it in one of my videos, and I totally forgot. So we all know Kayla. No. Not everybody might know, but Kayla No and Luke Daly were arrested last year in a Walmart in Tucson. They were arrested for drugs, narcotics, and weapons, things like that, right? And ever since then, both of these two have been fighting their case. And allegedly, Pima County was already watching them. Already. FBI was already watching them, okay? They were trying to build a case. Now, the information that I got, they were watching them before Nancy Guthrie even went missing, is the information that I got. Now, they were watching them already trying to build a case by aircraft, all kind of means. Now, when Luke Daly left and went to Culver's, when he got pulled over, they thought Luke Daly, for some reason, I guess, was leaving out of town. Like Luke got, oh, they're on to me, I'm leaving. And remember how they had the tarp up in the back of the Range Rover? Remember when they have the pictures of the Range Rover and they had the tarp up? And remember everybody was like, oh my God, they might have caught something back there. Remember that? Oh my God, they found some stuff back there. And then some YouTubers are saying Nancy Guthrie's body's back there because we couldn't see. They had that tarp up. Allegedly, what was back there was a couple duffel bags, and that's why they thought he was leaving, ditching out of town. So mixed with that and what happened with Nancy Guthrie, they decided to move in or pull him over or detain him and then raid the house. They raided the house because, they have to sign off on those warrants, right? They can't just raid your house. Well, they were already doing investigation on him. So because they were already doing some sort of investigation on him, allegedly, that's what gave them, I guess, the probable cause to search the house. Yeah, I don't know why the tarp. Good question. I'm thinking maybe they pulled that tarp up because he had duffel bags back there. That's the only thing I could think of. There was duffel bags in the back of the Range Rover. So maybe they had the tarp up thinking they might pull something out the duffel bag. They might pull Nancy's parts out or something. That's the only thing I could think of. But he had duffel bags back there. And when they saw the duffel bags, they thought he was taking off. So they moved in. Good evening, DD. Yes, it's federal because of the first case that he got arrested for last year. Anytime you get weapons involved and all that, yeah, it automatically sometimes will go federal. So yeah, his stuff was federal. Same thing with Kayla. I think Kayla's still in jail actually. I heard about that Luke's brother shot himself. Now, like I said, there's no proof, so I don't know if that's real or not. That's why I never brought that up. Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm starting to think that a lot of this is done on purpose to just to throw us off. I'm starting to think some things are done on purpose to throw us off. I don't know. Weapons and fentanyl, yes. Book is going, or book, I should say, is not going. Book is called Ray of Redemption. The people were asking. Rare Redemption, 15 years spent on the run, a true story. So it's going through editing right now. It was hard for me to write this book, really hard because I'm dyslexic. So it was one of the hardest things I've done. Thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate that. What are you guys? Who's got some theories? Anybody's got some theories they think? What are some motives you think might be going on with this? What are some of the motives? Great name. Thank you. A lot of times people come back to the scene to see if anyone is on them. You are correct, sweet. Not only that, a lot of people will Google their names. I did. I Google my name all the time. I used to go to libraries. I used to go to libraries and Google my name. I didn't want to do it from my house. I would go to a library and Google my name. I did it all the time. So, yes, people will do some sort of searching, especially of themselves, to see if law is onto them. I mean, they could be watching us right now. They could be watching, I should say me. They could be watching me right now. Like, oh, hope he doesn't click on that other tab. I hope he doesn't click on the other tab. Please don't click on the other tab. She said, dude, you're like 28 years old. I wish. I am not 28. I am definitely not 28. I will be 48 this year. 48 in November. I got kids who are in their 20s. Retaliation of the Epstein. Thank you, Red Dog. God bless you too. Retaliation of the Epstein files. And you know what? That is still in my mind. It's still. Because y'all remember when, actually, you know what's funny? How many of y'all remember this? What was this about? Hold on. What was this about? People seem to forget about this. Um, see if I can find it. Here we go.
Mr. President, you promised Savannah Guthrie's family.
Y'all remember this right here?
The full support of federal law enforcement. FBI is now.
I'll give you a little statement. I think we're doing very well on that regard. You're probably surprised to hear that. I think we're doing very well. Very well, meaning we have some clues, I think, that are very strong. And I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
Is this a nationwide search? Is this a search going to Mexico?
I'm not talking about a search. I'm talking about a solution. We have some things I think that will maybe come out reasonably soon from DOJ or FBI or whoever that could be
Suspect?
Yeah, could be definitive.
When do you expect us to hear?
A lot's taken place in the last couple of hours. A lot of things have happened with regard to that horrible situation in the last couple of hours.
Y'all remember that? So what did he mean by solution? What did he mean by solution? Y'all remember that? We forgot. People forgot about that. What did he mean by solution? What did he mean by solution? Well, you're November 12th. I am November 22nd. Oh, happy belated young birthday, Connie. You say you turned 27 years old? Savannah goes back to work April 6th. I didn't know that. So she goes back to work April 6th. Interesting. Why did they put a date on it? He found flowers all over the street the day after the daughters went to visit the memorial. Interesting. Huh. So many things don't make sense. They don't. I want to know what he meant by solution. What did he mean by they were like, what? You're going to solve, you solved it? No, we got a solution. Like, what? What do you mean by solution? What does he mean by that? As in, when he said that, it made me think like, well, what are you trying to say? Savannah's not going to testify on nothing, so that's the solution. So y'all ain't going to mess with her no more? Like, what? Solution? What do you mean? He said, he could have been talking about any topic there. Those words could have applied to anything. I don't think he was even paying attention. I wouldn't be shocked. Me, I just pay attention to I pay attention to what people say. I pay attention to everything. I'm aware of my surroundings. So Hoda's been in Savannah's chair this whole time. That I didn't, because I really don't watch the Today Show. Like, I know who Savannah was, but I don't get up in the morning. I don't watch TV. I get up in the morning and I got to do stuff, unfortunately. So I never got to watch TV. Maybe the bad guys look at this. I'm pretty sure whoever's involved might be looking at this right now. I think it's something to do with Cameron and the military, and Savannah is basically just to throw us off. He kind of deflected against himself when he told his sister that it's probably because of her. That was very odd. It was odd when he said that, when she was like, could it be because of me? And he was like, yes, they kidnapped her for ransom. I agree with you. That didn't really sit right with me when she said that. Like, huh? Like, you would know that quick already? Christina said, I have more questions and theories. Why no searches? Yes, I've been saying that. Why no searches? They're not even allowing the Cajun Army to search last I checked. Remember, Cajun Army was like, we're searched for free on our dime. Nanos did say, how many of you guys ever heard of a permit to search for somebody? Before this case, I should say. I've never heard that you need a permit to search for a loved one before this case. How many of you guys heard of that before? I never heard of that. You need to go get a permit to go search for somebody that's missing? I've never heard of that one till this case. Yes, she did give more clues. We were talking about that earlier with the pajamas, the no shoes. That was definitely a strong one. The back door being propped open. So you never knew Savannah until this case. I knew her because of the presidential debate. She had Trump mad one time. And also she would host sometimes some things like deal with the Olympics and things like that. Have I seen the walk comparison to Tommaso? Yes, I did see that. I did see the, the gate, whatever you want to call it. I did see the walk. Oh man, like I said, I really don't know if it would be him that was at the door though. Because if it, like I said, if it was him, he would have to unfortunately terminate. He would have to. He can't give her back, so he would have to take her out. You guys are coming up with some good stuff. I love it. Luke needed money to pay back the cartel. Probably. I wouldn't doubt that one either. There had to be more to the conversation. I want to know what the more was. See, that should have been a follow-up question. Once again, it should have been a follow-up question. For you guys that are new, I said when I watched that interview or listened to it, I got a little angry because there was no follow-up questions to some of these questions. And when she said she talked to Cameron and Cameron was like, yeah, it's you, they probably took her for ransom. My follow-up question, I would have asked politely. And my follow-up question would have been, well, what gave Cameron, the hunch to think that? What were the clues that Cameron saw to believe they took your mother for ransom? That would have been my follow-up question. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But she asked nothing. I was reading some of your comments. Monica says, I know there's a couple searchers out there that have already called out the Cajun Army and Echo Search, and other people say, why aren't y'all out here helping us? I do know it was some individuals out there with drones, and things of that nature. That part I do know, but we never really saw a search party as like we would see in other cases. And what made it weird was we never saw the family organize a search party. We never saw the neighbors really organize a search party. We never really saw that. We had individuals searching, but not really a search party. And then that's when Nanos came out with, you need a permit. Like, what? Yeah, the Cajun army said they would do it on their own time. They would bring out helicopters, they would bring out trained dogs, they would bring out drones, and they were waiting for permission. They didn't want to just go out there and do it. They were waiting for permission from Nanos. Some organizations won't search without Ellie's permission. Yeah, some of them won't. Organizations, you're right about that. But what about for the regular folk? Exploring with Jim ain't got no permit. He doesn't. But how many people's with him? He's by himself, right? Watch this. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Let's see. Let's see. Where is it at? Hold on. I'm trying to look for something for you guys. So I think it was on Brian Enton, I want to say. But Chris Nanos will say one thing one moment and say something next. Yeah, I can't exactly find it. I don't remember exactly, but I want to say it was one of the Brian Enton when he was talking about the Cajun army. Because I want to say he was the first person that reported that they were waiting for permission. But I guess they never got the permission, which sounds like. What does the companies have to do with kidnapping her? I think I explained that already. The companies are owned by Tina. Tina is one of the people who was actually almost all the people who was on the list that supposedly the FBI gave to the gun stores. Thank you, Holly. Ray Marcel, host of Fugitive TV. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. The yellow poster, are you talking about the poster that was left with the names on it too? Are you talking about that one? That's one thing I didn't research yet. Yes, yeah. I didn't research that yet, actually. I'm gonna research that. Let's see right here. We have let's see. Per my law knowledge, you needed a permit when you need to search privately owned properties, but not for public owned properties. Great understanding right there. You have an email directly from Nanos? He actually spoke to you? Any thoughts on Travis Reynolds? He's a pervert. I know that. Did he do it? Here's the thing. I still think it was more than one. I know it was more than one person. It's more than one person. So if he did it, who else was with him? If he did it, somebody else was also with him. MagTab sounds like something the CIA would definitely, yeah. Military intelligence. It's the Epstein files. Hey. Maybe Nancy invested into biotech. Tina, I'm glad you remember that name. Because biotech was the other business. I want to say, actually, it wasn't bio. I think it was BioSense. BioSense, I think it was. And that was the one that can take the image of your heart in real time and transfer it to your phone and search for other devices. Why were those two FBI agents knocking on the neighbor's door asking if she had a pacemaker in the garage? Who has a pacemaker in their garage? Oh yeah, I just happen to have a random pacemaker in my garage. Go look, go grab it. Misty Blue says JLR probably solved it, not you. I don't think anybody has solved it. If somebody solved it, Nancy would be, people would be arrested and Nancy would be here. I don't think anybody solved it. I'm just reading some of your comments here. Man, look at you guys filling the comment section up. Please like, subscribe. Why did their names appear on a list at the gun shop? Those are the names allegedly the FBI was looking for, saying that any of these names buy any weapons. Why did the FBI have those names to begin with? Did the FBI do the same research I did and found out, hey, Tina did a little research on Nancy, or Tina did something to Nancy, or whatever it is. Fatima, however you want to pronounce it. I heard Savannah hired private investigators. I think, hopefully she did. Just because they had a business does not make sense to kidnap her. You're thinking on the surface. You're thinking on the surface. You're not putting two and two together. You got to put two and two together. Do you think the blood at the door was planted? That is a great question. I've thought about that plenty of times because I've always said that video of the guy at the front door, it just looks staged, but I don't know why. Let's say, why would they stage it to throw us off? You know what I mean? It just didn't look right. It just looked staged. From how he's got the gun in the holster to the holster doesn't even fit the gun. It's on his front pocket. The way he's looking. Oh, let me go grab the shrubbery and put it. It all just looked staged. Like, look at me. I'm here, guys. It didn't look right. The name on a poster. So that yellow poster you guys keep talking about. Like I said, I didn't do the research on that one yet. Is a jeweler. Is what you just said. Distraction. I'm sometimes I'm leaning towards the person at the front was a distraction. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Here's the thing: if these individuals, these people so far have managed to break into a home, really think about this. Think about this, people. These individuals so far have managed to break into a home, not anybody's home. We're talking about a celebrity's mother's house. Spend, what was it, 40, 45 minutes in the house. Take her from the house. And there's been no trace anywhere of these people. Not one so ever. We don't have no street cam footage of when they left the neighborhood. Now, there's no street cameras in the neighborhood. But for you guys that's been following my videos, for you guys that remember, I did a video when I found out it was a Kia Soul. Remember that video? And I showed you guys the path. Because if you come out on El Camino on the main street, there's a traffic cam right there. Looking at you. And I showed you guys a path for where you can go to avoid the traffic cams. Now, they could have avoided them, but they can't avoid them forever. It's just very odd, very odd. But these people have managed to take an 84-year-old woman out of their house in the middle of the night. No cell phone pings. And the guy was supposed to be there twice, they said. So his phone didn't ping that time, meaning he didn't have a cell phone on him. Everybody's Wi-Fi and stuff went out around the same time. We get this camera footage that they had to go beg Google to get that was saved in their cloud. And we have nobody that can tell us it was them or they went this way. We don't know if they went to Utah or they went down south to Mexico. No clue. No clue whatsoever. So really think about that. About if these people had the knowledge to do this, they had the sophistication to do this. When we first got the video, I remember looking at Fox News and ABC, and they were all talking about, look at the gun on the holster. He looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. Look at him picking up the flowers. He looks amateur. He doesn't look like he, well, what do we have here? This guy's still out there. Or they are still out there, because it's more than one. They are still out there. The person I talked to has said that they don't have any suspects. I was reading an email that somebody told me to look up real quick. Let me see what this says. Let's see. Let's see. See if I can pull this up. See what you're talking about. Somebody sent me an email, so I'm looking up to see what they're saying. Katie, thank you. Katie says, excellent video with the back roads. Yes, you watched that video. Ray, check the image I sent you via TikTok. All right, I'm gonna look at that. Let me see here. I'm looking at what somebody just sent me. And I'm also gonna look at the image you said you sent me too. I'm gonna look at that as well. Oh, what do we have here? What is this? A lawsuit from 2021. What is this? Okay. So we got a lawsuit. Tina Abenuzzi filed on a Stephanie Nicholas. What was the lawsuit over? Can I see what it's over? So somebody sent me a email just now to tell me to look up. There's a lawsuit actually that Fatima Abenuzzi filed against Stephanie Blair Nicholas. Filed on December 6, 2021. Now it was dismissed February 15th, 2023 is when it was dismissed. This is on Unicourt. Let me see here. See if it'll let me pull up the actual document. And I can see what this is about. You are a real diggy man. I will dig, I will solve it, I will find it. I will do whatever I can. Why are you validating my credentials? I just want to see this thing. Personal use. Oh, it's making me sign up, y'all. Hold on real quick. I gotta sign up to see if I can pull this. Watch, it's gonna make me sign up and get to the end for a membership of $99.99. You can do. Let's see. How did I? Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. Dang, they don't even have a free plan. Let me see if I can pull this up some sort of other way. So there is a lawsuit that happened. Hold on, what's this? What is this? What is this? What is this? Hold on real quick. Did I find something? Let me see. It won't even let me open it. It's locked, y'all. I need a password. It's locked. Yeah, so somebody sent me a told me to look this up. So there is a lawsuit that Fatima, aka Tina, filed against a Stephanie back in 2021. I was trying to see what that lawsuit was about without signing up. I did find some paperwork, but then it asked me to put in a password. Somebody said they sent me a picture on TikTok. Let me see. You sent it to my TikTok? Because I don't see it. Thank you for that information, Carol. Whoever Carol was, thank you for sending me that email. Thank you. Research it on Google and add PDF at the end. Oh, all right. Let's try that. Look, you learn something new every day. Let's see. Let's see. Let's try that. Oh, shit. Hold up. Is this related or no? Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Why, when I did that, the first thing that popped up was a big pharma lawsuit. Hold on. First thing that popped up. Take forever to search through this. Wait. Trying to see if this still works. And they got this thing buried. Whatever this lawsuit was, it's kind of buried. Actually, what county was this? Let me see if I can find the county. What county is this out of? Maricopa County. Maricopa County Superior Courts. Let's see. See if I actually go to the website, the court website itself, and let's see if I can find it. Sent you an image via tip, but they blocked it. Do you have an email? Yeah, send it to my email. I'm gonna type it in right now. Marcel@raymarcel.com. Marcel@raymarcel.com. I just typed it in. Thank you, Connie. Have a good night. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Wonder Woman. She actually put the email in there for me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dateline on in 1 hour, 30 minutes. Dateline, are they continuing the interview? Is there still another part they're doing? Is that why? Hold on, I'm looking to see right now if I can pull up this court case through the actual Merritt County Court. Locate recorded documents. Let's see. Well, let me find it. Recorded document number. Let's see if it gives me a document number on here. We are on a mission, people. We are on a mission. They blacked out the case number. Who is this woman? Let me see if I can find who this woman is. Let's see something. Who is this woman? Let me do a background search on her. Maybe if I do a background search on her, something might pop up. Let's see. All right. So if you're wondering, Fatima filed a lawsuit against a lady named Stephanie. Carol sent me the email. Let's see here. Thick case details. Oh, I just got another email. Reading what this says. See here. Stephanie. What is this lady's last name? I don't want to give her full name out yet, people. Because we don't know. We don't want to put just anybody on blast, right? As much as we want to. All right, I found her quick. Let's see what she's got going on. Stephanie, what do you have going on here? Starla says, I don't think this case will ever be solved. It's funny you said that. There's a lot of, I was watching a show today with a bunch of FBI agents saying they don't think it's going to be solved. I don't think if it doesn't get solved, it's because they don't want it to be solved, I think. Bottom line, I don't think they're going to want it to be solved. Yes, that was the name. I'm actually doing a background search on her right now. It just generated. I want to see something. I want to see something here. With her first. So she's got a business. What is this business? What does she do? What does this lady do? This right? Physical therapist? I don't know if this is the right person. Looks like she works some sort of therapist, maybe. Huh. I really wonder if people don't want her found, unfortunately. I don't think some people want I mean, I'm being honest here. I really don't think some of these people want to solve the case. I do think there is some sort of cover up. I think there's some sort of cover up going on right now. Email sent. Let's see what we got. Somebody said email sent. I really think there's some sort of cover up going on. Reading another right now. All right, so I did get an email. Let's see what this says. Thank you for sending this to me. I appreciate that. Thank you for sending this to me. This is from Doug. All right. This email is actually from Christopher Nanos. It says, per Arizona state law, people or It says, per Arizona state law, people or groups of people are allowed to search any area in the state as long as it's not private property. They do not need the sheriff's permission. If it is private property, then they are required to obtain permission from the property owner, or they could be charged with criminal trespassing. However, there are other areas of concern that I need to consider that these deal with civil liability. Every sheriff in Arizona has at its disposal state-trained volunteers. If they are working or volunteering for the sheriff, then the sheriff assumes all risk, liability, should they get injured or damage someone's personal property. They, in essence, are agents of the sheriff, and ultimately their actions become the responsibility. I currently have over 400 highly skilled and highly trained volunteers who work alongside my team. They're out in the field almost daily. They work with canines, cadaver dogs, horses, drones, airplanes, helicopters, and our deputies assigned to our search and rescue team. Funny you say helicopters, because the one pilot couldn't even get out that day. Behind my own team of volunteers, I also have access to several state volunteers who also train alongside my team. Interesting. Thank you for that email. That email is supposed to be straight from Christopher Nanos. And let's see here. What else I got? I'm looking at what somebody else just sent me just now. Who was this from? This is from Catherine. That is her. That's her. You are correct. You are correct. That is her. And then the rest of them are her family members. The rest of them are the family members. So you are on the right track. Oh, you sent me and then another person just sent me a recap of what happened with the lawsuit. Let's see. So, plaintiff Fatima Abnouzi sued defendant Stephanie, alleged based on typical filings in a similar civil matters, claims arising from personal injury, contract dispute over professional services. No reported published opinion text is available. The case appears in court documents, state or federal, of multiple filings included complaint motions, possible discovery disputes. This is no widely cited. So it looks like it could have been over some sort of personal injury or contract dispute over professional services. And she sued her. Fatima sued her. So when I looked up Stephanie, she was associated with let me tell you right now, she was associated with a rehab facility. Hold on real quick. Was it a rehab facility? What was it? Yeah, some sort of rehab facility. Let me see if I look this way, what pops up. Physical therapist. So some sort of rehab facility or physical therapist she's associated with. It looks like she doesn't own it, but she works for them or some sort of contractor for them, it looks like. Yes, my video was removed quick. It was up a day and they removed it quickly. Marcel's the only one I know that can solve this case. Thank you. Actually, sorry, I was looking earlier, but I was also reading his text. I was reading about a cat. What was going on about a cat? I am not sick, and I am no way going to unalive myself. I am healthy as can be. So if any of you guys turn on the news one day and you see some BS about me doing something to myself, do not believe it one bit. If I can survive what I survived in life, I can survive anything. So I am definitely not going to do that. Yes, Irene. The Abanusi. Every time I mention Tina, that's Abanusi. That's her last name. It's Fatima Abanusi. That is her last name. I discovered her about 3 weeks ago. Look up her son. We're talking about Fatima's son, right? Yeah, I looked. I came across their when I did that very first video. If you go back and you look at my videos, the video was titled Nancy Guthrie, because she be connected to Iran. And I did that video like 3 weeks ago. When I did that video at that time, I mentioned Tina and the patents she owned and some of the companies, but I never got into debt or a death about it, and so I never exposed like her full name at that time. And I never exposed any of that. But at that time, I had her social media accounts. I pretty much had everything on her. And then after the names popped up, all those last names, and people were like, "Oh, who's these last names?" Hey, I might as well tell y'all who these names are connected to. Enlighten says you have 445 live witnesses to your statement. Yes, people. Don't worry, I'll call Nanos to save you. Please don't. oh, that means you don't care about me. Please don't. Email address, please. Yes, it is Marcel at raymarcel.com. Marcel at raymarcel.com. Yeah, the sun does look like he could be, right? The sun looks like it. Let's see here. What else we got? The emails are flooding in, people. Thank you, Catherine. I'm just reading another email. Yeah, I'll answer this. So somebody just asked me, do you think this could be a professional hit? It makes this person wonder if this was all put on maybe a warning for the Epstein case. And they're just wondering my thoughts. For those of you that's been following me, I did slipped off top of my tongue. I did a video and I interviewed a prisoner who is currently doing life. Well, I shouldn't say interviewed because his voice wasn't on there. He didn't want to put his voice on record, which I don't blame him. So I pretty much had to take notes of what he said. So this guy's doing life, okay? And this is a respond to the email I just got. They're asking me, do I think this is a professional hit? Okay. So I'm responding to the email. The guy I was talking to that's in prison right now, he was part of one of the cartel groups or organizations, whatever you want to call it. I won't tell you which cartel, but he was part of one of them. He's from South America. All this man did, okay? This man never had a regular job. All he did was kidnap and abduct people. That was his whole job. All he did, okay? Sometimes he would unalive them. Sometimes he would hold them for ransom. It just all depends. He told me every single time he had to take somebody, it was always for the same two reasons. It was always over money or revenge. And then he said a lot of times the root of the revenge was because of money. It started over money most of the time. Some sort of way he came to the States. I don't know what happened, and he's doing life here, okay? He's never getting out. But he gave me some things. And when I talked to him about this, the one thing he told me was he couldn't say too much information, but he did say that he didn't think it was amateurs that did this. Even when I saw it, I didn't think it was amateurs that did this. I didn't think it was anybody burglarizing a house in the middle of the night. No, they don't take people like that. They don't even want confrontation half the time. They usually burglarize your house in the daytime. And even if you are home, they're not going to take you with them. What are they going to do with you? So they're going to leave you there. So as soon as I saw these people taken, and then as soon as I spoke with him on the phone, yeah, I don't think the people who were at the door or at the house, first of all, I believe it was more than one. It has to be more than one, okay? They had to carry her out the house, put her in the car, all right? It was a lot easier if it's more than one person. Now, if it's more than two, that part I don't know. But I know there had to be more than one person. There has to be, to make this transition a lot easier. And he even told me on the phone, he said every time they abducted somebody, it was a minimum of two people. He told me every single time it was a minimum of two people. Now, he told me this too. If it was over two people, say it's a third person, a lot of times the third person is disposable, if you know what I mean. Said a lot of times the third person would be disposable, as in that third person, they can get rid of them. They're just using them to help do the job. Then afterwards, they might get rid of the guy. They don't know. But I've always thought, and I still think, that it's somebody above them that sent them out. Let's just say it is Tina. Like I said, Tina's 60-something years old. Her husband's 70 almost. Her business partner is almost 70. I highly doubt it's them at the door. Okay? But I believe somebody is above all them, or somebody's above the masked guy we see at the door. Somebody is the puppet master and they were the puppets sent to do something. And I firmly believe that. Somebody else is involved. We just don't know why this happened. That is the biggest clue. And I say, whoever can find out why, you might solve the case. Tommaso and Annie still could be involved. Like I said, they could have peed somebody off. Could have pissed somebody off. They could have. They could have hired Tina and her company. They could have did something. We don't know. You know, all this is allegedly, right? But I believe those people at the front porch, they were sent. Now, the person also asked me, was it a warning for the Epstein files? I made a couple videos on this before. I don't know if it's a warning for the Epstein files, but it's a big possibility when you look at the surroundings of it. That was why I showed you guys that Trump clip earlier. That's actually why I showed you. When he said solution, was a solution as in this is going to be a solution, Savannah's going to how to keep her mouth shut now? Because she interviewed all these victims. One victim unalived herself, and one victim she interviewed, they never put the interview out. Who was in the room? The interview that Savannah Gay did with the victim that they never put out. Who was in the room with Savannah and the victim at that time the interview was given? There's not one person on earth that I've asked and they can give me the answer to that. Who else was in the room? A cameraman? Was there a producer? How many people? If there was a room full of people, then yes, then that means a room full of people know all the details this victim gave. But if it was just Savannah and maybe a cameraman and maybe one other person, there's only 3 people now that knows all the details that interviewer gave. You get what I'm going? You got Savannah, but who are the other people? Are they still alive? Are they missing? We don't know. Email address says it's not valid. You tried to send and it doesn't work? Hold on. Did I type it right? Did they block my email address? Thank you, Wonder Woman, for putting that out there. I might have typed it wrong, but yeah, try it again. Thank you, everybody, for doing in this chat. Thank you. We got 457 people in here right now. Mike said 2 weeks ago, how do we even know the people on the porch are still alive? I got somebody. You guys know what coyotes are? You guys, and I'm not talking about the coyote, the animal. I'm not talking about the animal. But a person, when they call a person a coyote, have you guys heard of that before? Yeah, that list actually has Tina's 3 last names on it. Not just 1, 3, because she has multiple names. And her husband's last name. All right, so I was in contact with this coyote. I actually don't know what happened to him. For people that don't know, coyotes are people who help you cross the border. You pay them a fee, and then they help you cross the border illegally, whether it's through the tunnel or whatever it is, crossing the river, transporting the truck. They help you get to your destination and where you're going. All right, that's pretty much what a coyote does. Most of these coyotes work for a bigger organization. They don't work for themselves. They all work, actually, none of them work for themselves. They all work for a bigger organization. So you pay this coyote all this money, and then the coyote has to in return take that money and pay it to their bigger organization, which AKA cartel or, things like that, right? So I was in touch with one. I just, like I said, I don't know what happened with him, but I was in touch with one. Now, he said that word through their network, that one of the individuals that was involved, okay, was dumped in Mexico and no longer with us. I don't know how true that is, but I did see a reporter post that a long time ago and it kind of vanished. Who said that? Let me see if I can find it. One reporter did mention it and it kind of got brushed over. Nobody really paid attention to that. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. Um, what is this right here? TV Insider believes Nancy Guthrie likely died in Mexico after kidnapping. This is not it. Trying to see if I can find this reporter that said it. I think they said it on their Facebook page. Let me see. We got here. Thanks for the super chat. Yes, Irene. Yes, those last names that JLR got. I actually came across those last names 3 weeks ago. So yes, I know exactly who they all are. I know, that's why we were talking about their business. If you were here earlier, I was talking about all the companies that Tina, aka Fatima, owns. She owns about 6 or 7 different businesses. And some of those businesses are I don't know, could be related in what's going on. No, it wasn't Brian Ensign. It wasn't Brian Ensign. It wasn't a well-known reporter. They just had like a Facebook page and it came out and I was like, hold on, where did they get their information from? Because that's what I heard. Where did they get theirs from? But it would make sense. Maybe that's why nobody's coming forward too with the $1 million reward, because if somebody was disposable, like the guy told me on the phone, there's nobody to tell on you. I'm just saying, it could make sense. Let me see here. I keep getting these articles. Nancy Guthrie likely died in Mexico. I'm trying to find. Private investigator believes cartel abducted her. Hold on, let me go to Facebook real quick. See if I believe it was on Facebook. Yeah, I can't remember who this person was. It was the only time I ever saw them too. Only time. Nancy Guthrie. Let's see. Unless they took it down, I no longer see it.
Stuart, when you hear her say the door was open when they first found out the mom was missing, why are we hearing about this now?
You know, Jesse, I watched this interview several times, in fact, multiple times today with some of my colleagues, and we really tore it apart. And for the life of us, there are a lot of questions, a lot more questions than answers. And I don't have an answer for why we.
The Drift says, I believe the Coyote. That's why nobody's coming forward for the reward. They made sure that by getting rid of them. Hey, like I firmly, if I was a betting man, if somebody asked me to gamble money right now, was like put money on why somebody's not telling on somebody, is because somebody's not alive to tell on somebody. That's exactly what I would bet on. Somebody is not here to tell on the next person. So if there was two of them, the second one might not be here. If it was three of them, the third one, who could have been a disposable person. Remember, I told you, the guy told me on the phone, anytime there was more than two people, anytime, the rest were disposable. They got rid of them. So it makes you wonder.
You are just hearing about the back door, but let me just quickly go through several points. Number one is Savannah Guthrie tells us that when her sister calls her, first calls her, Savannah goes, "You better call the police." Well, the sister says, "No, the police are here already." You know, Jesse, using common sense, if a loved one goes missing, the first thing you're going to do is call or text the people that are closest to that person to find out if you've heard from that person. That in and of itself seems a little odd to me as to why the sister or brother or anybody did not reach out to Savannah Guthrie prior to calling the police or while they were waiting for the police. There's about a 12-minute gap between the time 911 is called to the time the police arrive. That's number one. Number two is, this would be the last scenario of an 84-year-old lady who has physical limitations that anybody would contemplate kidnapping for a ransom. There was nothing that would have been consistent at the very onset to lead anybody to believe that Nancy Guthrie was the target of a kidnapping for ransom. That statement in and of itself causes me to now have a lot of questions as to how someone would have even gotten to that point from just being on.
Hey, you hear what he just said? Do you hear what he just said? Speaking of Cameron, Boom said, what if MagTab was Cameron's idea and Tina stole the idea, patented it, and Nancy fired her? Wow. 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 You know what? What did the website say? The website did say designed by Marines. Now, he is in the Air Force, I believe, but they could just be saying Marines. You get what I'm trying to say? Wow, that you could be onto something right there. I mean, wow. I didn't even think about that. But you hear what he just said online? He just said, oh, hold on. Somebody sent me something. I'm looking what they sent me. Let's rewind that just a little bit so you guys can catch what he just said. Listen to what he said.
That statement in and of itself for a ransom. There was nothing that would have calling the police or while they were waiting for the police. There's about a 12-minute gap between the time 911 is called to the time the police arrive. That's number one. Number two is, this would be the last scenario of an 84-year-old lady who has physical limitations that anybody would contemplate kidnapping for a ransom. There was nothing that would have been consistent at the very onset to lead anybody to believe that Nancy Guthrie was the target of a kidnapping for ransom. That statement in and of itself causes me to now have a lot of questions as to how someone would have even gotten to that point from just being on the phone prior to showing up. Number 3.
So is he questioning Cameron now too? Is this man on TV, this former FBI agent, is he questioning Cameron too? It sounds like he's questioning Cameron too. Check your email. I am checking right now, Starla. I got you. Let's see here. It sounds like he is questioning Cameron now too. Hold on. Tina sent me a house. Whose house is that one? I'm going to respond back to you right now. Without any ties of Maria Lewis and her neighbors. You know what? I really never looked at Maria. I never really looked at Maria. You know what? It's a good thing. I'm reading some of your comments right now. A lot of you guys are starting to side-eye Cameron. Fugitive show public house for sale is Nancy. A lot of you guys are starting to side-eye Cameron. Oh, I see what you're getting at now. Okay, hold on. Is this her actual house? Why is the address different though? Hold on. It does look like, are you saying this is Nancy's house? Oh wait, you know what? Are you saying this is Nancy's house that you sent me? It does look just like her house, but this one is not. I'll send you what her actual house, it looks just like it, but I'll send you what her house is, an address. But people are starting to side-eye Cameron now.
Savannah Guthrie offered later on in her interview with some very specific facts that her mother left the house in her pajamas without her shoes. How did Savannah Guthrie know that at the time her mother left the house, she was clothed in her pajamas without her shoes on? That leads me to believe that law enforcement perhaps has other video that, quite frankly, they have not disclosed. Unless Nancy Guthrie only had one pair of shoes in that house, how would anybody be able to know that she left the house without her shoes on? That's a very specific material fact, and it caused us to pause and wonder. There's a lot of things that we just don't know.
You bring up 3 really interesting observations. I don't, I'm not an investigator, but how these things go, and I can't explain the things that you're raising either. The notes. The 2 notes, she says, she still believes those weren't hoaxes. Well, what does that tell you?
She not only said that 2 of the ransom notes with specificity she believes are real, she actually also suggested that it was one kidnapper. She never refers to individuals, meaning plural. If you go back and listen to her interview, she talks about one person. And so that leads me to believe that in those ransom notes, and again, there may have been some clues within those notes. By way of example, We took your mom in her pajamas. You will notice that those pajamas are not there. We took her without her shoes. Her shoes or her slippers are still by her bedside. And so there is some specific facts that are known to law enforcement that, quite frankly, they're keeping very close to the vest. I will just say this to you, that this interview, I don't think helped the investigation. In fact, if anything, I think it may have hurt. I think it also may have hurt their credibility because there are just...
Oh, he said it might hurt the credibility. Oh.
Just things that just, quite frankly, don't add up. And statistically, these cases generally lead back to someone who's within that inner circle.
So you have an ex-fugitive right here on his YouTube channel telling you that this stuff was most likely caused by somebody, I said it earlier, in the circle. Most likely these people who did it were probably hired or whatever it was, hitmen, henchmen, whatever you want to call them. And you have this FBI agent basically saying the same thing I said earlier. And he's even side-eyeing Cameron like, hey, hold on, how you know about she got stolen for ransom? He's even looking at the interview a little funny. Like how I looked at it like, some questions, what was going on with some of these questions that were asked in a roundabout answered way? Interesting. The family does not want to be investigated when a new sheriff comes in. Everybody needs to be investigated until the crime is solved. Everybody needs to be investigated. Crime's not solved, you're still on the list.
Wow, that's a strong statement, Stuart. We'll see how it plays out. Why would, putting the credibility issue aside, why would this interview hurt the investigation?
I'm not saying that it hurts the investigation, but I do believe that less is more, because the more information you let out to the general public, and obviously there is an individual, at least one individual, because we saw them on that Ring doorbell, it gives that person an individual to backtrack and perhaps cover his or her tracks. And so what my suggestion would be is that less is more, allow the investigation to run its course. I don't see any benefit to Savannah Guthrie going on national TV and kind of, opening herself up. Look, it is very upsetting. Clearly, this is a devastating situation for this family. But I'm not so sure that the investigators are in any way supportive of Savannah Guthrie going on a talk show to kind of lay out certain material relevant facts. By way of example, pajamas without her shoes. And by the way, Jesse, if you go back, I believe that Savannah Guthrie said that she heard my mother was begging for mercy. Now, I don't know if that's her interpretation, or is there a recording that was her mom pleading for mercy when she was leaving the house with whoever.
Stuart, when you hear her say the door was open when they first found out the mom was missing, why are we hearing about this now?
Jesse, I watched this interview several times, in fact, multiple times today with some of my colleagues, and we really tore it apart. And for the life of us, there are a lot of questions, a lot more questions than answers. And I don't have an answer for why we are just hearing about the back door. But let me just quickly go through several points. Number one is Savannah Guthrie tells us that when her sister calls her, first calls her, Savannah goes, you better call the police. Well, the sister says, no, the police are here already. Jesse, using common sense, if a loved one goes missing, the first thing you're going to do is call or text the people that are closest to that person to find out if you've heard from that person. That in and of itself seems a little odd to me as to why the sister or brother or anybody did not reach out to Savannah Guthrie prior to calling the police or while they were waiting for the police. There's about a 12-minute gap between the time 911 is called to the time the police arrive. That's number one.
Wow, this guy is really dissecting and tearing down that interview. He's almost saying like this interview was for show. He is really dissecting this interview and tearing it down.
Number two is, this would be the last scenario of an 84-year-old lady who has physical limitations that anybody would contemplate kidnapping for a ransom. There was nothing that would have been consistent at the very onset to lead anybody to believe that Nancy Guthrie was the target of a kidnapping for ransom. That statement in and of itself causes me to now have a lot of questions as to how someone would have even gotten to that point from just being on the phone prior to showing up. Number three is, Savannah Guthrie offered later on in her interview with some very specific facts that her mother left the house in her pajamas without her shoes. How did Savannah...
So this guy really broke down this interview. He really broke down this interview. He pretty much said everything I said. The only thing I didn't mention was the timeline of the 12-minute gap. The only thing I didn't say, but he mentioned everything I said. The same exact thing. And he's probably looking at Cameron like a suspect now. He is probably looking at Cameron like, you need to be, you need to come in for questioning, sir. Because how did you know that she was taken for ransom like that? How do you know? What did you know that we don't know? In law school, we learned to tell the families to keep quiet and that less said is best, to not incriminate yourselves as suspects in the case. You are correct on that one. And I tell everybody, even if you did not do the crime, keep quiet, get yourself a lawyer, because you never know what these detectives might get you to say to put you at the scene of the crime. And next thing you know, you're going to jail and you didn't even do it. It happens. Think there's more to the conversation. I think there was more too. I hope there was more. Yes, the timeline has changed. What, 3 or 4 times the timeline has changed on this? This is... Oh, definitely crazy, y'all. Definitely crazy. See something real quick. What time is it? Oh, it's midnight on my time. It is midnight. When I get on live with you guys, I always say I'm going to go on for a couple hours. And what happens? What happens? I'm on here all night. Let me see if I can find... I'm gonna have to search for it later for you guys.
Just like that, with the unanimous consent.
Yeah, I gotta search for it later. I don't know. What do you guys think about what he just said though? What that the ex FBI agent just said? Um he did make some great points like we talked about earlier. He made some great points, especially about Cameron, about how he just just knew, he's got a it's for ransom. So did make a great point. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that so much. Charlotte, you've been showing love all night. Thank you. Okay. I really appreciate that. Well, guys, I am going to save a book for you. Matter of fact, when it's out, okay, you can email me, whatever you want to do. You will get a signed copy with a special message. I got it. I got you, okay? You will get a signed copy with a special message. I actually have to get up early in the morning. I always, what's funny? I get off here, it's 12 o'clock midnight, and I'm telling you I gotta get up early in the morning, which I do. But I'm still not gonna go to bed to 2:30 a.m., maybe even 3. That's just me. I don't sleep. 4 hours a night, I can never sleep. Ever. But besides that, thank you guys for coming into my chat. Thank you everybody for being here. We had a lot of people in here. It was a good chat. Now we got people looking at Cameron sideways. we got people looking at Cameron sideways. Now everything we talked about the interview, I want you guys to go back, if you can and you got the time, go back and really, because a lot of people watched the interview, and I understand you were caught up in the emotions. You were caught up in the crying. I get it. I understand. But go back when you get a chance and really listen to the interview, and you will get what I was saying about her not answering some sort of questions, and there's no follow-up questions, and some things are like, huh? Just like what he's saying. So go back, listen to that, because I listened to it 3 or 4 times. I had to, like, huh? Did I hear that right? So when you get a chance, go back and listen to that. And then yourself, you might pick up something that I didn't pick up, or this FBI agent didn't pick up. You might be like, hold on, wait, what did she just say? Let me write that down. Hold on. That doesn't make wait. But I don't know. Like I said, I think that those people at the porch, whoever they are, they were hired or sent out, and there's somebody above that sent them all out. And I'm pretty sure that person above might be looking at all these YouTube channels, and once again, might be looking at my live stream right now. So if you're looking at my live stream right now, hi. If I'm actually on to you, hello, hope how you're doing, and you're glad I didn't press the other tab to expose something else. Hey, I don't know, maybe. All right. But the rest of you people out here, Savannah's on Dateline now. Thanks for letting me know. I'm probably gonna go watch it then. I'm gonna go watch that. Thank you everybody for being in the chat once again. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. For those of you that got my email, you're always welcome to send me emails. I'm on TikTok. You can send me stuff on TikTok. If I don't respond right away, please forgive me, because I get a lot of emails, not just from this, but from my other businesses on the outside too. So please forgive me. Sign up for the membership. If you can, sign up for the membership, because I do members only videos too. And love you guys. Take care of yourselves. All right? Take care of your family. I don't want to have to do a video on any of you guys in the chat. I will, and I will try and find you, but I don't want to do that, all right? Just like you guys said you would try and find me if I end up missing, who knows? But nah, that ain't happening anytime soon. But love you guys. You guys take care. Look out for your surroundings. Peace out. I'm out, all right?